everybody, how's it going? So I'm here in Vienna, Austria today to do something really cool and answer a very fundamental question about recording drums, and that is what happens when you put $1,000 worth of microphones up against $28,000 worth of microphones. We're here at the Lewitt studio, so we're going to be using a couple of different Lewitt mic packages. We're going to be using their Beat kit with some additional tom mics, and then we're going to put it up against the most expensive that they've got here, just to hear what kind of difference we can get. Now, we're using a giant set of Tom Star Classics. This kit's absolutely insane. We've got 5 toms, very nice aluminum snare, just a whole myriad of cymbals, thanks to our buddy Joey over here, Joey from the SMG Discord.
What's up?
Way to take camera direction, Max. We got Max, who's been tuning drums and just being a massive help today. He's also doing a little bit of camera work, and he takes direction really well. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Max has had a couple now. Just please don't drop my fucking camera. On the snare, we've got the MTP 440 DM. And on the toms, we've got my favorite tom mics ever. And these are the 340 TTs. These go for about 99 bucks. We've got the 340 on the kick and the what are these? The 040 match. So these are a matched pair of stereo overheads. We've got these in an offset configuration with a center line right here, bisecting the kick. So the kick and the snare will remain in the center of the stereo field. So we're gonna have Joey play a song, and then we're gonna mic it up with the really expensive stuff and play that as well. And what's gonna be super cool is we're gonna have a link at the end of the video so you guys can grab the tracks and hear for yourself how big of a difference all the mics make. Hit it! Now we're getting to the interesting part of this video. This is why I traveled all the way to Austria to do this. And that's because we took this massive Tom drum set and mic'd it up with $27,000 worth of microphones, which you can get at Sweetwater and Tom. I'm gonna have links for all that in the description below. But we've got this amazing kit here from Tama. Thanks so much to Tama for lending it to us. And a bunch of cables here from Cordial. They were really cool dudes at the whole studio scene thing in Mannheim. That was really great. And I'd like to thank those guys for setting us up as well. Without you guys, we couldn't have made it happen. Also, we've got the Tama Ironworks stands as well. I'm a huge fan of those. They just work absolutely great. I've got them all over my studio back in Windsor. We got them here. I'm like, okay, good. We're in great shape. How the hell do we get $27,000 worth of microphones onto a kit? What we've got here is we've got the 1040s. And you guys have heard me rant and rave and rant and rave and rave and rant about these, about how awesome they are because they're so absolutely versatile. I absolutely reach for these for vocals, for guitars, for anything mission critical. These are hard to beat. These are my absolute favorite microphone of all time. They just destroy the competition because they are so absolutely versatile. They do FET, they do tubes, you can saturate it, unsaturated, multi-pattern, you name it, you can do it. And they can do remote controls as well, which is great. So Starting out for overheads, we've got a pair of 1040s. We got one here and one here. We're using my offset center line here. So we've got an overhead here and over there. And so instead of having it here and here where it would look more congruent visually, we're looking at the drum set like the microphones would, and that's why we've got them offset like this. So kick and snare are going to be in the center of the stereo image. And over here, we've got the Neve 1073 OPX. I'd like to thank the guys from Neve for setting us up. See, we've got perfect stereo pairs here for the overheads and for the room mics. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we go back in the room there, we can see, yeah, we've got the 1040s on the rooms as well. Like a couple of absolutely fine lunatics, we've got 1040s tube mics on the snare top and on the snare bottom. I crank up the gain on that on the camera there. Holy crap, look at that. Right under the snare like so. How often do you see that? Not very, that's for sure. And that is just super cool. Much more to talk about. We're actually running 16 mics in total here. So we've got 6 of the 1040s, love them. If we come over here, we can see we've got all the power supplies laid out. So for the snare bottom, we're running like full tube, full saturation, and a cardioid. Snare top, we're running clear, full tube. Overheads are tube as well and set to the warm. And we really liked the warm setting. We found it was just, you know, it kind of smoothed the overheads out just a little bit so they weren't so harsh sounding. And that seemed to work out pretty well. We're using them on overheads and rooms. Just want to give things kind of a nice little vibe. And once again, we've got the room mic set to tube and warm. We could have gone saturated, but we just kind of like this sound for this, just kind of rolled off any top end harshness we might have had. But the most important thing is here, of course, the sound of the room, and it just sounds absolutely spectacular in here thanks to the custom acoustics they've got. Never ever come into a studio that had anything like this, and yeah, it just sounds absolutely incredible in here. Now we also used a pair of the 140 Airs, which we normally use as overheads with the Beat Kit Pro. We've got one on hi-hat here, and we've got one under the ride cymbal as well. This is an old Andy Sneap trick. You put a ride under there, kind of gives things a bit of clarity and gives nice separation as well, because there's not a lot of energy going on from the other drums there. Now we did not spare any expense on the toms at all. We're using the brand new 950 WS's right here. We've got 3 on the rack toms, 1, 2, 3. And these are actually handheld condensers. I've got a full demo coming up on my show. If it hasn't been released already, it will be coming. These things work great, obviously, as a vocal mic, but they're also great for a desktop narration mic and all that. These would probably sound really good on toms, and yes, they do. And yes, they are not cheap. Retail somewhere around 800 US, I think. The cool thing is you can swap the body out for a wireless body because it's a removable capsule. Really awesome. Down here on the 2 floor toms, we've got a pair of 640 TS's. And these are really wild mics because they're those programmable multi-pattern types. I did a demo on one in the summer of 2020, and they're great on guitar and just about anything else you can throw at them because it's actually got 2 outputs and you can change the polar pattern after the fact. Here, you know we wanted cardioids, so it was a pretty easy choice there. But if you're recording a guitar amp and you want to really mess with the sound after it's done, I'd highly recommend recording both outputs and playing with the polar pattern that way. Now we've got a couple of different mics going on the kick drum here. On the front, we've got a 540S just to kind of get the sound of the overall shell. And then internally, we've got, of course, the 640 Rex, which is just a beast of a mic because it's dual elements. You guys have heard it on the show numerous times, and it is just all kinds of awesome. Now the 640 Rex is one of my all-time favorite kick mics because it's got the dynamic capsule and the condenser capsule as well, and they're perfectly in phase, and they're just wonderful for blending and getting really cool, unique kick sounds. All right, so that's our shootout. Reasonably affordable mics. Look, I get it $1,000. Probably isn't the cheapest option, that's for sure, but it's definitely useful considering just how great the Lewitt tom mics are, and they're only 99 bucks. Obviously, not everybody's gonna have quite an elaborate setup like this, so if you're using a 4-piece or a 5-piece, it's definitely going to be just a little less money. And make sure you check out the Beat Kit or the Beat Kit Pro, depending on your needs. Both are really cool options. Obviously, the $30,000 worth of microphones is gonna give you, maybe a slight sonic advantage, maybe just a little bit. But seriously, if you want to check out how it sounds in your own studio, in your own room, we've made the files available, so check it out. Follow the link in the description below. Grab the files for yourself. Take a listen and see if the Lewitt mics are going to do the job for you. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, subscribing, all of that. I want to give a big shout out to everyone at Lewitt for making this possible and letting us play in their absolutely incredible studio. I'm so jealous. I really want one of these rooms. Also, a big shout out to Tama for supplying not only the kit, but the amazing mic stands as well. Tama Ironworks stands are absolutely incredible, and as well as Cordial Cables. Got to talk to those guys in Mannheim. They were just simply awesome people. Thanks to everybody involved who made all this happen, especially Joey and Max, the guys who sat with me this whole weekend and helping film it and plug mics in and set everything up. You guys are absolute champs. Thank you so very much. Now, if you're wondering what $500 worth of mics is going to sound like on a kit like this, head on over to the Lewitt channel, and we've got a companion video where we set these up, the Lewitt Beat Kit, with the GLYN JOHNS method, and that's only 4 mics. It's the kick mic, the 2 overheads, and 1 snare mic. That's it. Is it going to sound any good? Hit the link at the end of this video and check it out over there. Until next time, Hasadigi boy.